I've never known a job where there are so many people that will tell you it's the best job in the world. My principal role is as an extended care paramedic. My goal is to not take people to hospital. Dealing with the emotions of the job is something that every ambulance officer learns. One of our roles is to work in the Emergency Operations Centre. I remember when I started, we got to 300 jobs in a 24-hour period twice. Now we get to 300 jobs by about 10 o'clock in the morning. You can't go a day without having it really clearly presented to you as to why your job matters. And I think that's really important. If you want to be satisfied with your work, you need to know that it means something to other people as well as you, and this is the perfect job for that.
I wanted to help my community, but I wanted to help the people in that community. But I also needed to know how I could help them and be trained to help them. One of the jobs that we went to down at Berry Bay was a father that drowned trying to save his son. Well, his son survived, and it was a young family, and I drove the mother and her children back to the Yorktown Hospital behind the ambulance. I was able to chat to her and make her feel a bit more comfortable. That's what you do in the country. Well, it is a privilege and it's very rewarding, especially when you have people come back later and, oh, I know you, I saw you, you helped me. And that's happened a lot of times and that's really rewarding. One lady come from Queensland and she sent us little beaded angels, so we were her angels of mercy. And that, I nearly cried when I got that. That was lovely. But we need younger people to put their hand up and help their community.
It is challenging. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do paramedics is that challenge. It's someone's life that you've got in your hands and you're trying to help them. I love to do it. I love helping people out. There's no better job.
The day that I had probably one of the most challenging jobs that I've ever been to. Johnny and I were working together for the first time ever.
We were supposed to be returning for our lunch break, but on the way back we were dispatched to a job down at the zoo.
I think we got there within 4 minutes.
A female, 23 weeks gestation in cardiac arrest.
That rang alarm bells.
You start thinking about a lot of things in your head, and if you don't do the things right, that you could lose not just one but the baby as well. And it got a bit real when we saw the patient there under CPR. She was in ventricular fibrillation, which is a heart rhythm that we can effectively shock with the defibrillator.
So we shocked her once and
continued CPR for another 2 minutes and reassessed after that.
We gradually got an output back. I can't even explain it to you because not only did we save one life, we saved a baby. It's amazing.
Fortunately, again, we got to meet her after she'd given birth. There's no describing the feeling that just to see that them both well, the baby was well and everything went fine. Yeah, it was just an amazing experience.
I think we are perceived by the community quite well. As soon as they see our green uniform, they smile. They trust us.
Started out, did my degree with the ambulance service. From there I became an intensive care paramedic, and from there then you can apply to the special operations team. Anytime an ambulance crew needs us, they'll call us. I was called as part of a rescue team to go and get a guy from Kangaroo Island off Cape to Cootie. He got nibbled on by a shark. So we were called there to winch him off the rocks. And as we got winched up, I had the stretcher, and you've got the skids of the helicopter, and you have to physically pull the stretcher out so it just gets past that lip. And I've put my hand to pull it out, and that being close to the cliffs, the turbulence and all that, we've buffeted a little bit in the helicopter, and the stretcher's come down and come back up, and it's crushed my hand between the skids and the stretcher. I had nothing else to do other than continue on with the job. Since I've had a small child, I tend to think about it, my mortality in this role, a lot more than I used to. I discuss it with my wife quite a lot about, things could happen, but it's part of the job, I suppose. If the patient is benefiting and they're getting what they need, whether that just needs a reassuring hand, you lay with someone while their partner dies. If the patient gets what they need at the time, I'm always happy. My role would be the best role in the world. You get to help people, you get to see amazing things, and you get to do amazing things.
MedStar Kids is the paediatric and neonatal arm of the new retrieval service, which incorporates all ages. Given that tragedies are going to happen, no matter what I do about it, tragedies are going to happen. How can I best provide the best possible outcome for those patients once the tragedies occur? I was tasked to take a heart baby from Adelaide to Melbourne. He was only about 5 days old. Every time he was touched, he would become really even more unwell. And we were about to put him into a plane and take him through a storm where he was going to shake and shudder and to try and get him to Melbourne. I had to say to Mum, there is a high likelihood that your baby is not going to survive this flight, but we don't have any other options. I reckon about 2 or 3 weeks later I was working an emergency shift and a patient was coming back into the hospital, and I looked at the name and went, oh no, it's this baby. So I picked him up and there he was, pink and smiling and just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And he was admitted to the hospital for just stabilisation and was discharged a few days later. And they sent me this absolutely gorgeous card with his face on it, just, thank you for all your help. And it's still sitting on my pinboard. And so in terms of how did the health service, how did the health system in South Australia respond to this child's needs, just awesome. Like, I don't think we could have done it any better. And so, yeah, no, he's good. He's a motivator for me. He's on my pinboard, looking down at me. You're not just saving, their life, you're saving their life.